Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Everybody, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Homebrew, and we're here to drink beer, and we're here to talk about beer, and we're here to drink beer.
And talk about groundhogs.
And talk about groundhogs.
If you're listening live.
Like sausage, you're talking, right? Like pork sausage?
Groundhogs.
Like groundhogs?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. It is Groundhog Day. Apparently we have 6 more weeks of winter or whatever it is now.
Unless you're in Minnesota, then it's 12.
I feel like it's not fair for the West Coast to rely on an animal in the East Coast to determine if we have winter or not. You know what I mean?
Is it really fair for anybody to rely on a groundhog to determine if we have winter or not?
Well, look, that's different. That's different, but you make a good point.
I agree that it's not very scientific, but I like the tradition nonetheless.
It is a cute tradition,
and the movie is good too.
And the movie is good. I always took issue with the fact that it's Gobbler's Knob. Like that's it seems like Knob Gobbler just backwards, and it always just makes me think of Knob Gobbler.
I think you're always thinking of Knob Gobbler.
I might be.
You're a knob
I
gobbler.
might be. You might make me through it
with Annie McDowell. I just wasn't really a big Annie McDowell fan. The curly hair, the white skin.
She's so sweet and cute. How do you not like Annie McDowell? That's not
the cutie, big smile.
Yeah.
Thing. Oops.
I don't understand.
Yeah, like the Elaine Bennett sort of hair, like where it's sort of pushed back.
The old
I don't
frizz.
know what's going on there? Yeah.
Wasn't that like classic mid-'90s East Coast, though? The whole thing?
Well, if it was actually right outside of Pittsburgh, it would have been a bigger hair than that, even more of a poofy thing in the front. That's around when I was growing up in that area. So,
well, she's from New York, though. I think they were just traveling, right?
No, they were from Pittsburgh. They came up in the movie. They were coming from the Pittsburgh whatever station. It was a made-up station in the movie, but
right.
I know too much about this.
Yeah, you might.
WPXT.
Yeah, you might.
Pittsburgh. WPXI is probably one of the stations in Pittsburgh, but yeah, you were close. But it wasn't that in the movie. They just made it up.
Did you guys just watch this movie recently, or
no.
are you just full of weird shit?
I've seen
like
it 100 times. Yeah,
I've seen it a lot too. Yeah.
We're
gonna leave and go watch it right now.
Okay, please do. Did you stream it on your phone?
It's playing on my phone right now, actually.
Yeah, why not?
Puxatawny Phil.
Anyway, this is Dr. Homebrew again, and before we get too far into beers, I do want to tell you guys about our fine sponsor, 5 Star Chemicals, the premier sponsor of the Brewing Network's Dr. Homebrew. They support us. They've been on the show since the beginning, and they're good people. They make good product, and they help you make good beer, man. And that's kind of the 3 G's of 5 Star. And, check them out. Go to 5starchemicals.com. If you see them at conventions, I know they're going to be at the National Homebrewers Convention. Or is it still HomebrewCon?
I think so.
That's just a weird name. They're going to be at HomebrewCon for sure. They're there every year, so be sure to stop by. Thank them very much for being a sponsor of Dr. Homebrew. I think that would be really cool if they just got at least 3 people that aren't sitting in this room to go up and thank them.
There's a line of people. Everyone in the line.
We
don't have a question about your products. We just want to thank you for sponsoring Dr. Homebrew.
That's what I want. That would make me happy.
Next, we want to thank you.
That would make me legitimately happy, Brian. Okay, we do have some cool beers. We have Garrett. Let's just call Garrett now. Let's just jump into the first beer, right?
Looks like they call it both the National Homebrewers Conference and HomebrewCon. So HomebrewCon is kind of like a nickname. So it's still NHC, but it's, yeah. I've been a little confused about that, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know they switched last year to Homebrew Con just to, like...
Give it a shorter name.
Yeah, because NHC was a conference or
National.
convention, right? Like, which, you know...
And the competition, too. I was always confused.
Yeah.
What was the competition and what was the conference? Which does NHC stand for?
Right, so...
And if you want to go to the National Heartbreakers Convention, then you're just
I've been there
really
every year since I was 16.
I'm guessing, yeah, man.
I own that place. Garrett, are you on the phone, buddy?
I am here.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. How you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're just talking about groundhogs.
Garrett, you sound a little too sober.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it desperately.
Good.
Just get that funnel and that tubing, man.
You know it.
Just go to town. Okay,
Yeah.
So we've had you on before, Garrett, but remind me, please, how long have you been homebrewing?
Started brewing in 2003, made a whole bunch of really nasty extract beers, got discouraged, took a couple years off, started back in around 2008, discovered the Brewing Network, kind of learned what I was doing, went to All Grain, started competing, had some successes there, and just kind of carried on from there.
Awesome. What got you back into it after your break?
A friend of mine asked me about, he expressed some interest in brewing, and I was getting him started and trying to get him down the path, and that got my gears turning again, and ended up just jumping back into it.
Okay, fair enough. So what beer did you send us today?
Okay, so I'm going to call it a Double-Chocolate Milk Stout, although I don't know that that's an accurate description. It's a big milk stout with a whole lot of chocolate in it. He also hit it with some vanilla and some nibs and some bourbon.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like the other beers I've sent you, it's a big complex mess, but I like it. My friends like it. A quick backstory, there's friends of mine that host a Halloween party every year, and somehow it turned into a thing where I bring all the beer. And this was a beer that I brewed for this last Halloween.
Okay.
There's a milk stout has become really popular here in Minneapolis because there's a couple small breweries that do a really, really good job of it. So it's a style I've liked, and it's something I wanted to explore, and this is what I ended up with.
Okay. Are you happy with it? What do you want from us? What do you want from us, buddy?
So this one's never been judged, so this will be my first real feedback I've gotten on it.
Okay.
I think it could use some tweaks. I'm shooting for literally chocolate milk. When I served this thing, I served it on nitro, so it was a great big chocolate shake. What you guys got in the bottle is probably a little weaker representation, unfortunately, because I don't think the carbonation held up too well.
Okay.
But I think it can go further, and I need some tweaks from you guys. Let's see where I can take this thing the next time I do it.
Okay, perfect. Brian, you're up, buddy. Go for it.
I really like the aroma on this beer. It's got a pleasant, rich chocolate up front and a smooth, light roastiness, low kind of coffee and cream character notes in there. The esters are kind of moderately low and out of the way. Just a little bit of fruitiness, but not too much. Clean, very cleanly fermented. No problems there. No DMS, diacetyl, acetaldehyde, anything that would get gnarly in there and make it, hurt. Not getting any hops in there. Yeah, I'm getting a pretty good dose of vanilla too. I definitely noticed that. But it's in balance with everything else that's in there. And since you mentioned the booze, I'm not getting a big barrel character. There might, it's very backgroundy, kind of mixed in with the vanilla, whatever is there. So,
and that's something that I put dang near a quart of 1792 bourbon into the keg.
So you used the smoothest bourbon possible and dumped a ton of it in there. Yeah, nice. Yeah. You need to use cheaper bourbon. No, just
apparently.
It doesn't taste like bourbon. It's too smooth. But yeah, it's, maybe just contributing more to that vanilla and the richness a little bit. But it's pleasant. It's coming across nicely. It's in a nice way, not fighting with anything that's there. I probably wouldn't bump up the bourbon too much, honestly. If you wanted to declare it and have it be a part of the overall flavor profile, you could. But anyway, color-wise, it's a deep brownish black. It's got a light tan head. In our glass, it faded pretty soon after pouring. It looks clear, but it's hard to tell. It's so almost opaque. But there's just a little ring of fine bubbles remaining, and it's not easily roused. It just kind of fell flat. So I would have liked to see that nitro version of it. Would have been fun to experience that with you. But Yeah, appearance-wise, I gave it a 2 out of 3 just because the head fell flat, but that's fine. It can be kind of low carbonation style anyway, but you should have some head remaining. Flavor-wise, so the flavor was a little different than the aroma. I liked it as well. I really liked the aroma. The flavors where I thought maybe we could do a little work, but I did get a rich roasted and chocolatey malt notes up front, medium-low bitterness, rich, but it's smooth. It's not. What I like about it is it's not too acidic. There's just a little hint of the dark malts, and it's not biting or harsh at all. Just really smooth. So I'd like to know what you did with your with your water and any adjustments you did, how you dialed that back, because that's something that JP works on too with his oatmeal stout to get that roughness and that bitterness back out of the way for his. So you could probably school him on that. Low fruitiness overall, just a hint of some dark fruit in there. It's not like one of those raisiny, rich, plum-like ones. Just a hint of the esters. Finishes kind of semi-sweet. It's not anywhere near cloying, which is nice. It's not entirely sweet. There's enough sweetness there that you can taste it, but it's letting some of the richness of the malt shine through over the top of the sweetness. But kind of the balance with everything that's going on in this beer, it's nice where it is, but you could stand to make it a little bit sweeter. I get a nice chocolatey aftertaste, but it's medium. It's not, when you say double chocolate, we guessed, as you said, that it's a big chocolatey milk stout. It's chocolatey, it's rich, but it's, maybe because there are so many other things going on, it's not like that's the only game in town. It's kind of blending in with all the other flavors. Mouthfeel-wise, medium, towards medium full-bodied, with a low carbonation, smooth and nicely rounded from, the sugars that are in the beer. It's kind of feels full, as it should. Creamy and pleasant. No astringency. Just a little hint of warmth. It seems like it's maybe a little towards the big side for the style. This can go up to about 6%, and it might be around there, or maybe the booze is giving you the essence of some warmth. I don't know, but
we're definitely over 7%.
Yeah, okay. It's a little big for the milk stout, so you'd probably want to pull that back if you want it to fit that style. But as pleasant as it is, very pleasant drinking, creamy, smooth, sweet milk stout. Declared double chocolate, that comes through nicely in the aroma, less in the flavor, but still really pleasant. And maybe, I don't know, you put a lot of chocolate in it already. Find a way to either bump that up or without sacrificing the nice balance you have here, or else kind of pull some of the other things back. Pull back that ABV a little bit, get it towards the if it's above 6%, get it down at least to the 6, and then you can also just back off that, get the sweetness to come out a little bit more too.
Okay.
So I don't know what I imagine you got some lactose going on here. I'm not sure how much what your additions were and stuff. We'll talk about your recipe once sure. Keith pipes in on this one. But I give it a 40. I really like the beer, even though it was slightly big for the style. The chocolate came through nicely. It was kind of as declared. The chocolate could have come through a little more in the flavor, but the aroma was just fantastic.
It's amazing.
Drink a lot
it's
of
really
beer.
good. Yeah, for sure. I can smell a lot of this beer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Keith, what about you, man?
Yeah, so I think the first question you've already answered, Garrett, was just what is it exactly? And we judged it, I think, as a double chocolate milk stout. And it sounds like what you're saying is it's a chocolate imperial milk stout or a chocolate double milk stout, something along those lines, where it's stronger than it is double the amount of chocolate.
Correct.
So my score is going to be a little bit lower because I was looking at it more from, this is a milk stout. I want to see a little more of the milk stout come out. But now learning that it's probably, it's an imperial milk stout with chocolate, I would probably adjust my score a little bit. But
okay.
So I'll run through these things. And I think we're going to find a lot of this is very similar to what Brian had. But, the nose, really reminiscent to me of the syrup you would get, like Hershey's syrup. It doesn't sound that exotic, but it was actually really, really pleasing to, that chocolate, milk chocolate nose. And, going along with sort of that, chocolate milk impression on the aroma. I got that entirely. That was awesome. No hops. Roast was subdued. Really, the chocolate stood out. Just a hint there under maybe the chocolate. Otherwise, really, really clean. Maybe got like a touch of pepperiness, but not anything really significant there. That was the only thing I could pick up. Super dark brown, verging on black, virtually opaque. For me, the head was pretty much gone. I mean, right now I'm looking at there's like no head there at all. Wondered if that's from the chocolate, if you're using, cocoa nibs, the oil there, if that's hurting that, possibly. Flavor-wise, we got a sweet malt, low chocolate. So I was expecting from the nose a lot more of the chocolate flavor to come through, but really it was more subdued, definitely, in the flavor. Got a little bit of roast. Balance is definitely toward the sweetness, which is appropriate for a milk stout. No hop flavor, very clean overall. I was getting medium alcohol and maybe a little touch of graininess, a little biscuit, but the alcohol was the one thing that stood out to me in the flavor. Other than obviously the chocolate and the slight roast. Medium full body carbonation was medium low to low alcohol warming again, and just maybe a touch of astringency from the malt. But I don't know. I'm thinking more about that now. I was talking to Brian a little bit about this right before we went on here, and I'm like, well, to me, I'm getting this sensation in the front of my mouth. I'm like, we were talking, maybe that's alcohol, and now, now that you talked about adding the bourbon to it, I'm like, well, I mean, that's probably what it was. I skipped the scores. Aroma was 10, appearance 2, flavor 14, mouthfeel was 2, and then overall impression I gave it a 7. Said I really love the chocolate nose. The head's low, possibly from the chocolate. I asked the question, how big is this beer? It feels a little bit out of style. Dark malt, I think you did a really great job with that. It's not astringent in terms of dark malt astringency. I was getting a little more the toast, and maybe probably more. I was actually taking more alcohol than anything else, where I was really struggling with there. I think that, to me, that's the biggest flaw, was that it was probably a little too big. Other ways, I would probably improve this with a little more sweetness to balance it out. I thought, you have chocolate there. I think sometimes, chocolate can be dark chocolate. Obviously, it's not as sweet. Or you can have, sort of a milk chocolate. And the way this beer comes across reminds me more of sort of the milk chocolate sort of flavor. I think just a touch more sweetness there would help that out. And maybe the alcohol's drying it out somewhat, too, and it's not letting that sweetness come through as much. So.
Sure.
So overall, I had a 35. So mine was a little bit lower, but I think that was more on the fact that I was judging it against the milk stout style.
Understood. And I think when it was on tap on Nitro, I think it presented a lot differently in terms of that, with the great big head and the creaminess, and I think that affected the flavor somewhat too. As carbonation tends to do. So
still great beer, though. I mean, I really enjoy it. Don't want to ding it and saying I wouldn't drink this beer, because I am drinking it right now. So.
Oh no, all good. I live for feedback, and that's why I'm here. So
I can imagine it would be a nice dense mousse like head on that, and nice and creamy smooth.
Well, it was like a milkshake.
Yeah,
I like how there's a lot of sweetness in the beer, but I want to say it's the tannins from the nibs kind of just cuts it. It kind of cuts a lot of that residual sweetness, so it doesn't feel like as big of a beer as it is. Mm. You know what I mean? Just kind of that dryness in the center there.
Yeah,
I think the nibs bring that out, and in fact, when I kind of put the recipe together, I dialed back on the hops, knowing that I was going to get some of that dark bitter from the nibs out.
Wise. Yeah.
For sure. Well, do you have any questions for the guys here, Garrett?
So sweetness, you think? Well, I can run through the recipe for you if you want to.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, please do.
Let's look at that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got 12 pounds of pale malt, a pound of oats, a pound of lactose, 14 ounces of the pale chocolate, 14 ounces of the black prince, 5 ounces of Crystal 120, and 5 ounces of Crystal 80, and then 1 ounce of nugget for 60 minutes.
And you're adding that all in the mash, or you're not cold steeping or anything like that? Sorry.
Nope. Just all right, normal mash. White Labs 007, big pitch of that. 4 ounces of nibs, post fermentation, 2 vanilla beans, and we talked about the bourbon.
For how many gallons?
5.
And what about water treatment? What's your water like there? Are you using local water, and what are you doing with it?
Minneapolis tap water, and there's not much in it. It's kind of a nice neutral water. You can do just about anything you want with it.
Nice. Easy to make dark beers. I know we don't have much in our water in San Francisco. The pH starts really high, but there's not a lot of bicarbonate to sort of support dark beers, so I end up having to add add stuff back to the water to keep it from the pH from dropping too low. I don't detect any sort of sour twang here at all or anything like that. So I think your pH was probably in range. But do you notice any problems with that? Are you taking pH readings? What are you doing there? I
am not messing with my water currently.
Okay.
So that's something I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. It's in the future for me, but I think there's other things I want to work on first.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's working for you. So, I mean, that's part, don't mess with something if it's not broken, don't fix it. So.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I brewed the bigger brother to this beer.
There's a big brother. We want to meet him.
Same exact recipe, but I bumped the base malt to 18 pounds. So base beer by the math should come in at about 10.1. Right now, that beer is sitting on a pound of toasted coconut, and we're going to see where that goes.
Wow. That sounds delicious, man.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Anything else for the homies here?
So you're talking about bringing up the sweetness. Do you think I just bring that up with the lactose or raise the mash temp, or what do you think the best approach is?
Yeah, maybe a combination of those two things. Those two things are what I would suggest. Either bring up the lactose a little bit, or you might start there. Just bring up the lactose a little bit, and but also I think just dialing. If you want to declare it as a regular, it's not milk stout anymore. They're calling it sweet stout under the British category there in the 2015. So goes up to about 6. And if you want to dial that back, that chocolate and everything else is going to come through more nicely. It's gonna mess with your balance a little bit though too. So. I don't know. Yeah. Pull it back
so
a little bit.
I haven't competed since they did the 2015 revamp. Mm-hmm. So would this end up going under one of the other categories because of the vanilla now? Or is it...
it's going to be a specialty anyway, but the base style would be the sweet stout. So you want to declare the right base style and have that come through nicely along with your special ingredients that you declare. So I would declare the vanilla and the chocolate, but I wouldn't declare the booze in this one unless you bumped it up or used a harsher booze. Yeah. But you don't want to do that.
Yeah, that was the thing with the big brother. That's getting 7-year-old Nicaraguan rum.
Oh.
Sounds amazing.
And you don't have to necessarily declare the base style either exactly like that. You could say it's an imperial milk stout or something, too, if you wanted to keep it a bigger beer. So you don't have to make it fit into something. But, we did judge it as a 30A spice herb vegetable because of the chocolate. But, that was kind of where I would enter it. And then you could make the base style as sort of an imperial milk is probably what I would go with. That you're going to keep it the same. Otherwise, if you dial it back, then it's back to a milk stout.
Yeah, 30A with an imperial 16A base. If you get too complicated, you can throw the judges for a loop sometimes. It might be easier to just keep it simple and, maybe try it omitting the booze. Bump up the lactose a little bit, pull back the alcohol, and just call it a double chocolate milk stout. That would work fine for me, And if you want to add the vanilla in there, that worked great too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think whenever I've done nibs, I feel like I almost have to put the vanilla in because chocolate doesn't taste like chocolate without it.
Yeah, right. If you get to the point where you're like the imperial double chocolate milk stout with vanilla and booze, it's like you're the guy at Starbucks that orders the half calf latte with the 1 pump of vanilla at 142 degrees with the.
You have a point.
Yeah, I don't know, but if it's good beer, hey, drink it, make more.
How long did you leave the nibs on?
2 weeks.
Okay. For fun, for shits and giggles, try leaving them on longer. For me, they're similar to oat cubes, where the longer you leave them on, you kind of start pulling like more deeper flavors.
So the warmer.
Yeah, like I left them in an oatmeal stout for 6 months once, and it was not a mistake. Whoa. Yeah, I would think so. Like after 4, it's like this is kind of weird, but I don't know. Everything kind of comes together after about 6 months, maybe 8 months. It's really weird. And I just left him in there because I'm a lazy asshole, and I was like, I don't want to, whatever. I have beer left in the keg, whatever. But it was interesting.
It's like the bitterness comes off first, and then you just get the warmer elements of the chocolate.
I mean, even push it to 4 weeks and see what happens.
I've never dry nibbed, so I'd have to.
I love it.
I'll have to do one of those.
It's really good.
So when I do my vanilla additions, how I got the booze in here is I soaked the vanilla beans in the bourbon in a jar, and then the whole thing got pitched in. Have you ever soaked nibs in spirits, and what happens there? Does it start to draw out nastier things because of the high alcohol?
I've never done it. I've always just thrown them right in. I've never had a problem. I know people, complain or they're afraid for cross-contaminants or whatever. I've never had a problem. I also do that with my oak. I never sanitize, and I got a contaminant one time.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with that either.
Probably 15 times. So, and it was good. It kind of tasted good, I'll be honest with you. It's like that weird, funky barrel character.
Sure.
So I don't mind it.
I will take your nib advice and run with that the next time I do a nib beer for sure.
Do it.
All right, man.
All right, man. Thanks, Garrett. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Cheers.
Good beer.
Yeah.
Good beer. But I can see what he means about adding a little sweetness. Maybe it's not sweetness, maybe it's mouthfeel, because those nibs kind of dry it out a little bit.
Yeah, they pull that down a little bit.
Okay, anyway, we're going to take a break. Speaking of pulling it down, I don't know.
Drop.
Actually, before we do that, I have to talk. I have to make talkie real fast. February, everybody, this is February. It's a time of year when you give your loved one what they desire most, a label. After all, if you're anything like us, your most prized possession is your latest batch of homebrew. So treat it like the amazing miracle it is and label the thing. For the month of February, take 20% off your order. Not 10 like usual, but 20% off when you use code WELOVEYOU. It's all one word, we love you, at checkout. That's right, 20% off your next batch of custom beer labels from Grog Tag. That's right, our friends at Grog Tag are giving us 20% off by using code WELOVEYOU, all one word, at checkout. Check them out, grogtag.com. Custom beer labels, coasters, metal signs, and more. grogtag.com. 20%, dude.
That's good.
I could use 20%. Okay, here we go. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to drink more beer. It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang out. We'll be right back.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. Now, back to the examination.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Before we get to our next friend, our next patient, I suppose, on
Or
Dr.
future
Homebrew.
enemy, depending on how things go.
That's right. Well, hey, that's on you. I'm doing my job. If you
Okay.
guys want to bone this dude right in the head, then, go for it. This is from our friends at White Labs. With so many unique and awesome yeast strains, how do you decide which one to use? White Labs recently launched a yeast bank feature on their website, which allows you to browse their entire selection for the perfect strain to use in your next batch. You can search by style, keyword, homebrew, or professional sizes and more. Visit whitelabs.com/yeastbank to try it out. Don't keep guessing which strains will work best for you, like me, basically. Don't pull a JP. Do a quick search and find the perfect strain to make your next homebrew shine. All right,
maybe we could get our listeners to, rally for a certain yeast strain, too. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, like,
What does the chat room want to do? What yeast strain do you guys want to...
Right?
The two people that are in the chat room right now.
Yeah. I want some weird Eastern Estonian, wild ale yeast.
The special orange juicy Vermont yeast.
Nobody wants that. Matthew, are you on the phone, buddy? We got you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Hey.
Pretty good.
Oh, I need to get you guys the beer. You don't have Matt's beer, do you? Let me get it for Matt. How long you been homebrewing, man? What's your story?
We can do this one.
On and off for about 6 years, but in the last year and a half, I've been brewing pretty heavily.
Okay. Why? Just because you got more into it, or did you find some free time? I'm always interested to see why, the ebbs and flows of people's homebrewing.
Kids.
Yeah, that's just it.
I don't know.
Just kids. That's it. That's the reason.
No, I like experimentation. Most of my stuff's one-offs, except for a few things I've been trying to clone. So
you're not supposed to give kids beer, though. You're brewing it for your kids. Is that what I'm getting out of this?
I'm sure everything's above board over there in Matt's house.
Okay.
Matt, what beer did you send us?
I sent you a chocolate quad.
Oh.
Okay, a Belgian quad. Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, Keith, why don't you do you want to start us off with this?
Sure.
This monster beer.
I'd love to. I was judging this as a Belgian dark strong, category 26D.
It's probably my fault.
No, no
It
worries.
was on the cap, but yeah.
Okay.
Say chocolate on it.
No. 2015, 2016.
Okay, that's cool.
That's okay. We can do this.
Okay, so aroma, I get a sweet, light biscuit, get a medium peppery pear nose, strong alcohol. Also, I'm not getting any roast. Overall, really clean and just a light floral hop aroma. Appearance, I'd say it's dark cola in color. Not opaque, but getting that range. If I were judging it for a Belgian dark strong, it's on the very high end for color. Head isn't too big. Kind of subdues pretty quickly, but there's a lasting light tan color around the glass. So in flavor, I'm getting a big alcohol note. It's probably the thing that jumps out at me. Balance is nearly even, but definitely leans toward the malt. Once again, getting a sweet malt, toasty, biscuity, just a hint of chocolate roast, peppery, fairly dry for being so sweet. But obviously alcohol also gives you some sweetness too, so it does sort of balance out there. More toasty than caramel. We'll get some caramel as well. Once again, fairly clean, not getting anything off, just getting the normal sort of phenols and esters you'd get in a Belgian beer. Medium carbonation, a little low for the style. I'd like to see a little more carbonation for the style here. Alcohol is very evident, so it's warming. Not quite smooth in terms of alcohol flavor. Medium body, appropriate. And overall impression, I really like the beer a lot, but I thought the alcohol for me at this point in time was just a little too hot. I thought it was fairly complex with the biscuity sort of nose of chocolate and an interesting fermentation characteristics there with a little bit of pepperiness, a little bit of pear. Enjoyed that, but I thought maybe some age would make the alcohol be a little bit smoother. So overall, I gave it a 35.
All right, Brian, you're
okay. Up. Yeah, so I also judged it as a Belgian dark strong, and just per the cap there. But in the aroma, it's malty-rich. Has some notes of definite cocoa notes and light coffee in there. Esters are restrained, and the phenolic notes are also pretty restrained. Only a faint kind of pepperiness in there. But, yeah, it's not offensive at all there. No DMS or diacetyl. The alcohol is actually pretty smooth. In the nose, to me, it seems to be moderate. It's like, okay, there's some alcohol in there, but it's not, like, overwhelming my nose. I'm not getting a lot of raisin, fig, or plum complexity in there. There's a bit of dark toast. There's no obvious hop. And but yeah, it's a lot of chocolate in there, which now makes more sense to me. Appearance-wise, it pours a large, fluffy, light tin head, but that it just kind of bubbled down and faded pretty quickly after pouring. The body of the beer is a medium brown color. It's very towards the very darker end of this style, showing some slight haze, but looks all right. Just faded a little quick there. You want to keep that head up a little longer. It was kind of a low fill too. I noticed on both of the bottles we are looking at. So anyway, I don't know if that might have had to do with carbonation getting lost a little bit, or the filling technique in the bottles. You can tell us how you filled it, but I think it's probably might be off a keg. I don't see any dregs down here, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, so dark.
Appearance-wise, malty sweet up front. So you got and it stays medium sweet into the finish, which I kind of thought was almost a bit much. It seems cleanly fermented, but it lacks some of the Belgian yeast character is really light. It's just a little bit of pepperiness. There's a little bit of some, the plum esters in there, along with some sweet chocolate, which now makes more sense, and vanilla notes. There's some alcohol definitely prominent, and it is a bit hot. It comes across a little rough, but it's not, it's not really detestably harsh or anything like that. It's just really a little like, at the end you get a little sweetness, and then boom, the alcohol just kind of stays through and lingers past it. The bitterness is low and out of the way, which was nice. It's got a sweet malty aftertaste and just, pretty pleasant flavor. Body-wise, it's medium full. Actually, it's towards very full. Actually, it's the carbonation is medium high. Mm-hmm. Actually, it just kind of, I don't know. It seems weird, but it seems like there's some carbonation in here. But for some reason, the head just fell flat. It poured up a pretty big head both times that I poured it, so it seems like there's something in there, but it just dropped. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Well, with an alcoholic beer, it can drop a little bit fast, but yeah, maybe it's like way towards the high alcohol side of the style, and it's just dropping that down. There's some very firm warming in the back of the throat here. It's not too harsh, but it's also not as smooth as it could be. It's a little bit hot, not very creamy and smooth, but there's no obvious astringency either. Just everything's kind of. The things that are over the top here, the warming and the carbonation might be driving some of that too, and the fullness of the body. All of that together makes for a real mouthfeel experience here. But, overall, the beer meets a number of the benchmarks for a good Belgian Dark Strong or a Quad. I would like a little more of the kind of the fruity malty flavors. And the alcohol could be slightly smoothed out. It could be obscuring some of that stuff too, a little bit. Just keep your ferment temperature under control. Pitch massive, happy, healthy, wonderful yeasts, and maybe third generation after another big ferment you did or something, and just keep building it up and keep that yeast going. But
that's the key to a beer like this.
And that might also attenuate it a little better too. Try to attenuate it down just a little bit more, like just a touch drier. Mm-hmm. It's not cloyingly sweet, but it's pushing towards that a little bit to me. I gave it a 33 though. I think it's a pleasant beer. I bumped it up a point because it does have a lot of good chocolate in there. At first, I was gonna say, yeah, Belgian Dark Strong. Usually, a lot of the dark colors and flavors come from the sugars in there, and the recipes are quite simple. It doesn't have a lot of specialty malts in it all the time. That it's not a big let's put a lot of this and that, something else in there. But
yeah,
I would imagine there might be some chocolate malt in here too, or some sort of malt that besides just the chocolate that's giving it that richness. But I thought it was a very good beer. I liked it a lot, and it could use a little dialing in. But thanks for sharing it, Matt.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for these guys, Matt, on anything they said?
Well, actually, I was trying to clone a Castile's barista chocolate.
I don't think I've ever
I don't
had
know
it.
that one.
Yeah.
Haven't eaten either.
Yeah, they actually have it on tap. They have it on tap at our local yard house.
We'll be right over.
I was trying to go for that beer is like super chocolately.
Yeah.
And so
Is this less or more to you? Is it less or more chocolatey?
This is way less.
Yeah.
It's because theirs is pretty over the top. I've never been able to obtain that kind of chocolatiness in a beer, and I've tried a few times.
Yeah, we got the battle of the chocolate beers tonight here.
We can give you tips from the beer we just tasted a minute ago, and and some feedback there about how to up the chocolate. But no, let us know what you did. What did you try to do to get the chocolate flavor?
Yeah, actually, if you want to run through your recipe first, Matt, that'd be ideal.
So I used this was a 6-gallon batch, so 5.5 pounds of pills, 12 ounces of pale chocolate, 4 ounces of Carafa Special 2, 2 pounds of D90, and 1.5 pounds of Turbinado. And then, hops, 2 ounces of EKG, and pitched, I think, a 3-liter starter of WLP 500. So
the D90 is the dark candy syrup?
Yeah.
So you did that and turbinado sugar. Why both of them? Just for some complex flavors?
I undershot my gravity, so
okay.
I ended up just compensating a little bit with turbinado.
Yeah.
And you guys mentioned ferment temp. I use a brew pie. It's pretty much locked down first 3 days, 66, and then I let it ramp up to 78. So
that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What was your yeast
and then
pitch?
in the secondary, there's actually 12 ounces of cocoa nibs for 3 days.
12. Oh, for 3 days. Okay. Yeah. Leave them shits, dude, for like 3 weeks minimum.
Would you back off from the 12
I've done
ounces?
that before, and in a stout,
yeah,
and it came out like super acrid.
Huh? Acrid,
like harsh and astringent or biting.
Yeah, a lot of tannin.
There's a lot of plant matter.
How many nibs did you use? Sorry, what was the weight?
12 ounces.
12 ounces.
Okay, yeah, I would for 5 gallons or 6 gallons, I would go 2 ounces, maybe 3 ounces of nibs for like 3 weeks. So less amount, longer time.
Okay.
And I think last beer we just judged before this, he used cocoa nibs as well, and he added vanilla back to the beer, which was a really interesting addition and really did sort of give you more of that chocolate sensation, because the cocoa nibs, like you thought, it gives you some of the harshness. So the vanilla, the cocoa nibs don't necessarily give you a lot of sweetness, but the vanilla does give you that perception of sweetness. So I think that would be an interesting thing to add back as well to sort of play up the chocolate a little bit more.
Yeah, because the nibs aren't sweet at all, as you know. You probably threw one in your mouth or two. It's there's no sugar added. There's no fat added back. There's nothing. It's just a nut, a fermented nut pod thing. So, but it'll give you cocoa, like bitter chocolate, but it won't seem like that sweet dark chocolate that it sounds like what you're going for. So yeah, maybe try some of the a little bit of the vanilla trick from Garrett, or something along those lines.
JP's our nib guy here.
Yeah, man.
But it kind of makes sense to use less plant matter and pull more out of it that you can with the time, as long as the flavors that are still coming out of it after those many days is still pleasant.
Yeah, and again, it's like what I was telling Garrett, where they're kind of like oat cubes in my mind, where the longer you let them soak, the more the beers are going to penetrate and kind of draw stuff out. And I don't know if that's valid or not, but that's what I found. Just the longer they sit in there, they kind of change and do some funky, deeper kind of cocoa flavors. Again, it's not chocolate; it's cocoa. Right?
Let your nibs mellow, man.
Yeah. So give it a shot and see what happens, man.
The other thing about the recipe that I didn't think really after the fact, I don't think it needs it at all, is the Carafa Special. It's 4 ounces. It came out. I know you were saying it's on the very dark end. I didn't intend for it to come out that dark.
If you want to add, you could pull that back or pull it out next time.
Don't need it.
But the whole chocolate flavor. There's another beer, local beer here in Arizona from Prescott Brewery called a Chocolips. It's basically the same kind of chocolate flavor that the Castiles has, and it'll blow you away. This is the only 2 beers I've ever tasted that had, it's crazy over the top chocolate.
Cool.
But I've done some experimentation with coffee beans recently, and I got some local from a local specialty store milk chocolate coffee beans, and that kind of took me a little bit closer to that flavor. So
interesting.
Milk chocolate coffee beans; those have to be just flavor added to the beans.
But I've tried to get chocolate flavor from from extract. It's not the same.
You can do the Jamil's chocolate hazelnut porter, where he just takes Hershey's powdered chocolate. But it has to be under a certain fat content, or else it kills your head, and just adds that to the secondary.
Just the darkest good chocolate you can get.
Yeah, because you know what I mean. There is that difference between cocoa or cacao, right, and actual chocolate. They process the cacao nibs, and they're roasted. Make sure you're getting roasted nibs, and then they take the fat out and they kind of add that back with some sugar, and that's how they get the chocolate, right, with all that fat in it. So if you're going for that but using nibs, you're never going to hit that mark. And you know what? You might try writing these people and just asking them, hey, I'm a homebrew and I'm trying to get a similar flavor. How are you getting this chocolate? I would be shocked if they didn't at least point you in the right path. But nibs are good. I think they can give you that kind of the sort of in the realm of what you want, but they're never going to get you exactly what you want because it's not the same thing. You see what I'm saying? It's like a primered car. Yeah.
I get you. It's just more. I've done a lot of experimentation on. I've done cocoa nibs versus cocoa powder, and time wise, I thought cocoa nibs gave me a better chocolate flavor in less amount of time.
Yeah.
Because I did one experiment where I did 8 ounces of cocoa nibs versus for 3 days, or no, it was 5 days versus 30 days on the same amount of cocoa powder. Personally, I like the nibs better, and it was so much shorter time. So
yeah, I wonder if you can combine those 2 flavors.
Maybe.
Yeah. Trust me, dude. Pull it. Take the amount of nibs down and increase your contact time. I'd leave him in the keg for 3 months, and I would put him in the keg, carbonate it, and then just drink it and leave it in there until the 5-gallon keg was gone, and it would be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and the flavor just changes. It's friggin' amazing. It's really weird.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'll have to try that.
Yeah, check it out. Maybe not in an expensive beer like it sounds like this was, but just do a little more experimentation with less is more. Less product, more time, and maybe you can get a little bit closer to that.
All right, I'll have to try that out.
Yeah. Anything else for the guys here?
You said the carbonation was a little low. I did actually. It's bottle conditioned.
It is, okay.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, the fills were low, but the head just fell a little flat. I wasn't sure if it was low carbonation or just falling to the alcohol.
It could be also the cocoa nibs, and
the oils,
the oil there as well. But yeah, the one fill we have is barely at the shoulder. It's just past the shoulder a little bit, which seems a little.
For a competition, you'd want to fill it up. Yeah.
But
half inch, 3/4 inch from the cap.
Yeah, I was calculated for 2.9 volumes, but if it's low, it probably comes out less than that, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, 2.9. If you're gearing for that, it's
because there's more trapped and there's more head space for the gas to kind of hang out.
If you're bottle conditioning, sometimes too, you don't get all the sugar converted, especially with those stronger beers down.
Yeast has already been. Yeah. 500 has a pretty good yeast tolerance, but it depends on.
It's been in the bottle for like almost 7 months now. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it should be through that priming sugar. It's a good beer, though. Definitely fun tasting. For sure. And sounds like you had fun brewing it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna keep tweaking it. So.
Do it, man. Do it. Yeah. Try that vanilla thing too from the last guy.
I also had someone mention I did a hazelnut brown ale, and people commented that it tasted like chocolate. So
there you go. Yeah.
Maybe a touch of that too to you know. Trick people.
Yeah, even with the vanilla, you can take a bottle you have now with the vanilla and just add a couple of drops into a glass you're tasting and see what you think. And if you don't like it, then screw that. But if it is something that, give it to somebody else, let them taste it. Hey, does this taste more like chocolate or this one? And if they taste the vanilla one, I'm like, well, that one's a lot more chocolatey. Then you kind of have a lead there.
You can do a triangle test. That'd be a perfect triangle test, right?
Yeah. Yep. And some styles lend themselves better to chocolate than others. I don't know that I would choose to put chocolate in a Belgian dark strong myself. It's okay, but it's, you can also experiment with different kinds of chocolate and see which ones might blend better with this. Try a little pale chocolate malt in there, if you
I wonder
a little trick there, but yeah.
I wonder if you do need some of those darker grains to kind of help simulate the actual addition of a chocolate bar or whatever. Because I find they work really well in American stouts with a lot of pale chocolate. Like my oatmeal stout has a ton of pale chocolate, and the nibs work just beautifully together.
Yeah, or blend some nibs with some cocoa.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the process of making cocoa takes some of the bitterness out of that.
Mm-hmm. You add sugar back to cut that.
Well, they process it with alkali to remove some of the bitterness and turn it into more of a chocolate-like cocoa thing. So yeah. But, again, you got to watch out for the fat.
Yeah, give it a shot. Keep us posted, man.
All right. Well, you got to seek out that Castile's Barista chocolate.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I'm going to Arizona in a couple months. I'll check it. I'll try to find that one.
It's a Belgian beer, so...
Yeah.
Okay. It should be everywhere. All right. Yeah, man. And, hey, Matt, check out, email those breweries. See if they, when I was I did like a Schlenkerla clone. I emailed those people, and they couldn't tell me exactly, but they really put me on the right path and cleared up some misinformation on the internet. And so just throw an email out. You'd be surprised what you get back.
All right, I'll have to try that.
Yeah, do it. All right, buddy. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
All right, dude.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Right.
Later. Still a good beer.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was the chocolate show. I didn't know.
Neither did I, man. Neither did I, but it's great.
With chocolate.
We're going to take a quick break here as soon as I load it up. But when we come back, we have prizes to give away. Somebody's going to win a Catalyst. Today is the Catalyst show. We've talked about the Catalyst. It's made from plastic. It's over 90% more scratch resistant than other plastic conicals. It is a plastic conical, of course. And 71% less oxygen permeable. It's a low-profile stand design. Allows it to fit snugly in your fridge or right on your countertop. Cleaning is a breeze because the entire lid snaps off, so you can be sure to get all those little crusties off the sides, which I've been brewing a lot lately, and I've been using the 3-gallon carboys, and I fucking hate it. I hate it, and I wish just the whole thing would just lift up so I can turn it over and just clean it off, man.
That was the one thing when I went from using the buckets that I started with my kit to using carboys. It's like, well, how do you... you can get so much with the brush, but I wish I could just reach in there and do it.
Oh, man. But perhaps the best part, Brian, is the giant 3-inch butterfly valve at the bottom, allowing you to attach any size mason jar at the bottom for yeast collection during fermentation. Recently, they've teamed up with Stone Brewing Company to offer a homebrew version of the famous Stone Pale Ale. So be sure to check it out under the product section of their website. Learn more, craftabrew.com. That's right, craftabrew.com makes the Catalyst. They also do a bunch of other homebrew stuff. And, check it out. Stone Brewing Pale Ale, man. Everyone loves that beer. All right, we're going to take a fast break. We're going to come back. We're going to give some stuff away, and then we're going to go drink more beer. It's Dr. Homebrew. Hang on. We'll be right back.
Do you know the three most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, before we get to the good stuff, I do that all the time. When I'm coming back and I'm in a rush, I do guys want to tell you. I do guys, period. That's my new website, idoguys.com, where I talk about beer. It's really weird. Your brewing water can be a mystery. If it's good enough to drink, it's good enough to brew with. I'm sure that's what I talk about whenever I try to brew. But we all know to perfect certain styles of beers, proper water chemistry is vital. But running water tests can be complicated and expensive, but not anymore with the new iDip. We've talked about it before. The Industrial Test Systems is the company who makes it. The Smart Brew Water Testing Kit incorporates the exact iDip Smart Photometer system. The only photometer on the market that harnesses the power of the smartphone and runs water tests without you doing a pile of calculations. We hate math here on Dr. Homebrew and the Brewing Network in general because that's just who we are. The iDip features two-way Bluetooth communication with the brain of the system, which is its own unique app. It allows limitless possibilities, including lab accuracy, free upgrades, test customization, over 35 tests available, mobile sharing, and much more. You can keep a detailed history of your water results, email your report to other brewers, or share it on social media. So if you have a club, or if you're brewing for the day in a commercial brewery, this is perfect for commercial breweries, by the way. You can just share all the information so everybody's up to date. Visit smartbrewkit.com now and learn more about the iDip photometer and all the tests it can do for you, like pH, alkalinity, calcium, chloride, magnesium, sodium, sulfate, and more. It's like having your own professional water lab in the palm of your hands.
Yeah, it's a quick and easy way to test your water, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Smartbrewkit.com. All right, let's give some stuff away, huh? Oh, yeah. My papers are falling.
Stuff.
Things.
What do we have? The Catalyst?
We have the Catalyst. So, of course, we have our lovely sponsor's grog tag, which, by the way, dude, 20% off. I'm not going to lie, that's a pretty good deal. We love you. That's the code. grogtag.com. They are giving away a $40 gift certificate to the At Least Your Beer Will Look Good $40 gift certificate, and that goes to the person with I don't want to say the lowest score, I want to say the second highest score. How about that? Can we do that? Is that appropriate? Does it make it better?
Vertically challenged score.
Yeah.
I actually had the scores at the same, so for me...
So you're not the bad guy. Brian's the bad guy.
Factor.
Yeah.
Good cop today.
Okay.
It's the first time ever, I'd have to say.
Wow.
There you go.
Matt gets the grog tag.
There you go, Matt. There you go. You won $40 to grogtag.com.
This beer tastes pretty damn good,
That's
too.
pretty good, man. But now you can throw a fat label on there. Or, look, dude, coasters... I think it'd be pretty cool, a metal sign. You don't just have to go for the labels. They do a whole bunch of other custom stuff. So that means Garrett wins the Catalyst. Congratulations, Garrett, for winning the Catalyst, for brewing that beer. Oh, yeah, for sure. And for all the details of what you're going to get, go to craftabrew.com and check it out. And for those of you who are jealous of Garrett, I will give you his address, and you can go steal it from him because it's really communal property.
Those Craft Brew guys, they started as a Kickstarter thing, wasn't it? Or,
they did, yeah. The Catalyst was
made their
a Kickstarter.
funding and then some, and
yeah, they love it, and so they're giving back to and the listeners on Dr. Homebrew, but on the Brewing Network in general, are pretty big backers of that. So they're kind of they're giving us one a month to give away.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. The plastic on those things it's almost like glass looking. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you very much to Craft a Brew. Thank you very much to Garrett and Matt for sending us beers. Before we leave, however, have you seen what the free Brew Guru app can do for you? It delivers brewing knowledge and money-saving deals at breweries, beer bars, and homebrew supply shops. It's designed by the American Homebrewers Association, so you know it's not full of crap. It effortlessly finds deals and saves money on beer, food, and brewing supplies with your Zymergy, or not your Zymergy, your AHA discount. That's what it does. You can level up your brew IQ, they say, with hand-picked articles, recipes, and trusted resources from the AHA and Zymergy magazine. And, of course, it has a really cool brewery locator. You find nearby breweries, tap rooms, beer bars, homebrew supply shops, and brew pubs. Wherever you are, Brew Guru will lead you to good beer. And it's free. It's all free. So tie that thing in, man, with your AHA discount, or with your AHA code, and learn to fire up your discount wherever you go. And save yourself some cash, man. You'll more than make up the amount of your membership to the AHA.
Is that all we have?
That's all we got.
All your reads?
That's all we got.
Cool.
We're ready. We're ready to go. For you listening live, we're going to be right back in about 5 minutes or so with another show. For those of you listening to the podcast, just, I don't know, flip to the next show. Or if you
enjoy 6 more weeks of winter while you're at it.
That's right. Yeah.
For you if you're in the Bay Area, look up our Beer Judging 101 class that I have coming up with my buddy Dave Teckham. And
when is that?
It's on the second to last day of SF Beer Week on the 19th.
19th of February.
February.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
SF Beer Week's coming up soon. We're gonna have some fun out here, guys. Come on out and join us.
How do you get more information?
Go to you can go to the sfbeerweek.org site and you can search for it there.
Okay, sounds good. Beer Judging 101.
101.
Sounds good. And if you're looking for more radio like this, there isn't really anything because we're a unique podcast. But there's other beer radio. There's The Session, and there's Brewing with Style, and all sorts of kind of fun stuff like that. So check us out, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks a lot. Cheers.